Now that you've learned about course structure and organization, as well as, communication and how some of the apps and things integrate, it's time to create some content for your course. So as the teacher or as the administrator of the course, under add materials, you have the option, obviously, to add folder and a bunch of other things. For the purpose of this intro course, we're just going to talk about adding folders, files, links, as well as pages. You can see, and assignments. You can see there's test quiz, there's assessment, there's discussions, there's media album, there's some integrated things right here, which we'll talk about at a later time. But one of the things I just wanted to point out is just a simple way to add materials. I can simply click on it. Let's say I want to add a folder. I give it a description. I'm just going to call it test. Change the color. I can put a description, add some things along with it, whether it's a picture. I can assign a due date to it, that it's going to be available. I'm going to skip all that for right now, and I'm just going to say that, okay, it's going to be published. I'm going to simply hit create. The only downfall about doing it that way is once you have a bunch of different things, is it's all the way at the bottom. And you can see I have a bunch of different samples. So I have that ability where I can drag it and I can move it up wherever I want to. I can open it up to see what's inside of it. I have nothing inside, so that's why it says it's empty. But one thing I wanted to point out is this: as you can see, as I hover between things, there's a green plus sign with all kinds of dots. So I can add something in between here. So if I want to do a folder right there and call it test number 2, and I'll make it red, then I hit create. You can see that it's now up here. I didn't have to drag it. And as you learned before, it's important to create folders and be organized, whether it's by unit, by chapter, by topic, however you're going to do it. But you can see, I just have some samples, but if you're doing this throughout the year and it's not organized, it's going to have a very long list of things. And you can see I didn't put mine in folders on purpose, as I'm just adding things as I'm creating videos. But you want to make sure they're nested, and you learned about all that in the previous module. So that's just something simple, and I can add things as I go. If I would click in here to open this up, I would see this little green plus sign. I can do that, or if I feel comfortable, I can just simply go up to add materials every time. The other thing I wanted to point out is that when I go to adding a file, link, or external tool, file, think of as PDFs, Word docs, things like that. Link, I can share a link to a Google Doc. So think about all those times you probably grab a shareable link from a Google Doc or a Google Slide. I have that ability here. I can click on link. I can paste that link or URL to that shareable doc, give it a title, and then I can add it to my courses. Same thing with a file. I can click file, and it's going to say attach, just as if I'm attaching something to my email or something along those lines. So the cool thing about that too is if I click on link again, is as I have my stuff filled in, I have this option right here. It says copy to courses. So I can copy this to 4, 5, 6, all of my other courses, or I can copy it to 1, whichever ones I want. So I do not have to do it 5 different times or 6 different times. So that's the really nice thing, is I can do it all kind of at one shot if I want to do that. The other thing, which we're going to talk about in another video, is the way it's displayed, whether it's displayed inside of Schoology, if it's going to open in a new tab, if it's published to students or unpublished to students, things like that. So those are some of my options. Going back, if I have a page, this page is, think of this as and we're going to do another video that's more specific to this, but think of this as a way to embed different things. So like kind of like a Schoology hyperdoc. I can add text, I can add links, I can embed videos, I can add pictures. I can also attach different things. So think of it as a way for one spot where they would have to go through and kind of work through something along those lines. And same thing, I will be able to display it on a new page or display it in line, which we will talk about as well. So the adding materials, aside from the folder, files, links, and pages, those are kind of straightforward. The one that I wanted to really go over is adding an assignment, which is a regular assignment, versus a Google assignment. And think of this as the Dropbox. This is the spot where students would upload different things in order to submit a Google Docs, submit a file, things like that. So we're going to check on that in the next video. And this video was basically just to kind of go over how to add folders how to add some introductory files, links, things of that nature.